Hello children, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss what information we are going to get out of the chemical equations. In the previous lecture, we have discussed what exactly we indicate when a gas is evolved, or else when energy is evolved, when equation or else a reaction involves heating process. All these processes can be indicated in an equation. That's what we have learned in the previous session. In this session, we are going to know what all the information we will get from the equation, chemical equation. So what is first thing we get from the chemical equation is what are products, what are reactants. If some reactants are getting reacted in a reaction, what all the products would be formed. So you will get to know information about reactants and products. What are the reactants and what are the products. And second to that, you would know information about the masses, the relative masses. Means if you consider a reaction, let us suppose if you consider a reaction like this, HCl plus NaOH, a classic example of a neutralization reaction. HCl plus NaOH gives rise to H2O plus NaCl. So this is a reaction. In this reaction, you need to understand one simple thing. You see here the masses are expressed. Listen, always the masses in the reaction are expressed in the form of unified mass. In which form? Unified mass. And you will know how much mass of this molecule, if you are expressing a molecular mass, you would express it in a unified mass format. So what is that? You see here a molecular mass of HCl is 35.5 plus 1. 1 is of hydrogen and chlorine is of, let me write like this, 1 plus 35.5, such that hydrogen has 1 unit and chlorine has 35.5 atomic mass units of mass, and combinedly it can be expressed as 36.5 unified mass units, like unified mass units. If you are expressing some mass of molecule, then you can express in unified mass. So here you can say 36.5 unified mass of this HCl would react with 40 grams. You see it's 23 plus oxygen's mass is 16, and at the same time hydrogen it is 1. 24 plus 16, it would go to 40 units. Remember, relative. The second point what I wanted to convey to you is, in the second point, the second information which you get from the equation is the relative masses. When 35.5 mass of unified mass of HCl is taken, it would react with 40 units of NaOH. Remember this, sodium hydroxide. If you increase this 36.5, this is the reaction, relative masses of the molecules. You can get relative masses. Ante idi enta teeskunnappudu idi enta danto react avutadi, idi enta teeskunte idi enta react avutadi. So both, ante ippudu ikkada 40 units teeskunna, ikkada for suppose let me try to make you understand this particular relative mass concept. Relative mass. So you will know relative masses of these molecules. That is what I wanted to say. So what is this relative mass concept? Let us take here 70 units and here 36.5 units of what we say HCl. Even though you have considered 70 units, let me take 80 units directly. That means 2 molecules of NaOH. 80 units of NaOH if you consider, that means 2 NaOH molecules are there with you. So even if you take 2 NaOH molecules, even if you take 80 unified mass units of this NaOH, it would react with only 40 units will go unreacted, because the relative masses of these two molecules is 36.5 and 40. If you take 36.5 unified mass units of HCl, it would react only with 40 unified mass units of NaOH, not more than that. Even if you take more amounts, that will go unreacted like this. I think you would have understood relative mass in the sense both will be in relation. If you have increased this mass of NaOH, you have to increase mass of HCl also. So it's a relative mass concept. So from this particular equation, you would get to know the relative masses. In any equation, if you have written some equation between two molecules, you will get relative masses, the ratio of these relative masses of these different molecules. So second point, I think I've cleared you the second point. What is that? You will get the information. You will know the relative masses of the molecules. Let me write like this. Next thing, if you want to express the masses of molecules in terms of grams, remember, if you want to express masses of molecules in terms of grams, if you have taken 80 grams of sodium, or else let me say you like 73 grams of HCl, like that, if you have told, if you are expressing some mass in grams, you can find number of moles of different molecules reacting in the or else reaction. Let me write like that. Okay, next to this, if you know number of grams and if you know how many number of molecules are participating or else number of moles are participating in the reaction, you can find out volumes of gases evolved. If you know the volumes of gases and if you know number of molecules of gas, then you can find out mass of the gas also. If you know mass of the gas, you can find out volume of gas evolved, and you can establish so many relationships, volume mass relationship, mass relationships, mole relationships. If something is reacting in some number of moles, how many moles would be the other compound, all these things you will find out through the equation. Now I am going to explain one simple problem. We shall get in detail with help of a problem. So let me take a problem and let me explain you the concept, what is the information you are going to get through this equation. Before that, I wanted to make you clear about one concept. That concept is the word mole. How exactly you are going to see this word mole will change after listening to this lecture. We have different terms while we count something. Dozen indicates, let me say, dozen indicates number 12. Let me write like this. Pair indicates number 2. Like this, there are some terms, dozen, pair, like this. You have terms for this. If you go to the level of molecules, the size of the molecules will be very, very, very small. You cannot count in general numbering system which we do 1, 2, 3 like that. You can't count the number of molecules. Am I right or wrong? Yeah, if you think, can you count something, some number of molecules within a substance? No, it's impossible task. So for that, there is a simple system. You know, if you start counting bananas in the terms of dozens, if you say like 20 dozens of banana, it would be very easy. Instead of counting 240 bananas, you say 20 dozens of banana. Like that, the counting becomes easy if you keep it, if you call it with the name. Similarly, mole is also a name which indicates a specific number to count smaller molecules or atoms which are very smaller scale molecules. I mean, yeah, molecules itself will be very small. So to count those small scale things, you are using this term mole. Like dozen indicates 12, pair indicates 2. Like that, mole indicates a number called Avogadro number. Very simple. It indicates a number called Avogadro number. Like that, like dozen indicates number 12. Dozen indicates number 12, like this. Number 12, mole indicates Avogadro number. See, dozen will be relative to mole, 12 will be relative to Avogadro number. Am I simple or not? I am making it very simple. You try to understand. Like dozen, mole is also a word which indicates a Avogadro number. So what is Avogadro number numerically? Let us understand. It is indicated in terms of Na. Like this it would be indicated, and it can be written as 6.022 into 10 power 23 number. Simply I am saying you cannot count like this, but for your understanding sake, I am going to say you what exactly this mole. You know, if I say 1 mole of something, let me say 1 mole of HCl molecule. As I already told you, mole is a word which is, I mean, what we say, established to count very small scale molecules, right? Like that, if I say, let me write like 1 dozen of bananas. Let me write like that. 1 dozen of bananas is equals to am I right? 12 bananas. That would be equal to 12 bananas. Similar to that, if I write 1 mole of HCl molecules, 1 mole of HCl molecules. What exactly does this statement indicate? If 1 dozen of bananas is indicating 12 bananas, what does this indicate? 1 mole of HCl molecules. See, these are similar terms. 1 mole is used for counting, 1 dozen is used for counting. Bananas is the what we say, an entity. Like that, HCl molecules is an entity. Now if you see, how many HCl molecules would be there? 6.022 into 10 power 23 number of molecules, number of So it's as simple as that. If you see how the concept bananas would be, a dozen would be used, the mole is also very much similar to that. It indicates, if dozen indicates number 12, this 1 mole indicates a number like this, 6.022 into 10 power 23. This number has a name called Avogadro number. It's very simple, I hope. Now we shall get into deeper concept of this mole and we shall try to understand. Today we are going to do one problem for sure that will clear your concept. Let me write. In the next session also we are going to discuss problems itself. With that we are going to conclude this particular chapter. Now you see in a deeper manner, I'm going to tell you what exactly we can deduce from this concept of mole. Let us consider 40 units of NaOH. Here you see 40 units, let me say 40 unified mass units of NaOH. That says that you are considering, if this much mass, let me say if 40 unified mass units of NaOH is considered, then you are considering only one NaOH molecule. Remember, simply I am going to change the terms now. If 40 unified mass units are considered, then it would be 40. If you consider 40 grams of NaOH, if you consider 40 grams of NaOH, then that says, I'm just changing, you see, I am changing the unit. Instead, previously I have considered unified mass units. Now I am going to consider in terms of grams. Now you see, if you consider 40 grams of NaOH, this indicates that lump, the 40 grams which you have considered, the 40 grams of NaOH which you have considered contains 1 mole of NaOH molecules. That means indirectly you are saying 6.022 into 10 power 23 number of NaOH molecules. I think I have made it clear. If you consider, see, individually we shall write the molecular masses. 16 plus 1, that would be equal to 40 unified mass units, atomic mass units or unified mass units. Now you see, I am just changing this unit to gram, so I am going to express this as molar mass, gram molar mass. Gram molar mass. That indicates, if you take 40 grams, if I take 40 unified mass, that would be only 1 NaOH molecule. If I take 40 grams, then that consists of 1 mole of NaOH molecules. Like this, I am going to say one more example for you which makes it very, very clear. Try to understand. For this you have to have an idea of atomic weights of each atom, each element. Then only you can calculate the molecular masses. Remember, I am writing the atomic weights of each element. So let me write water molecule. These are very simpler molecules. That is the reason I am considering this, which makes you easy. H2O. Let us consider the atomic weight or else molecular weight of this compound, this molecule. 2 hydrogen atoms, that means 2 unified mass units of hydrogen and 16. Each hydrogen will be 1. Okay, so totally H2 in the sense 2 units and 1 oxygen will have 16 units. Totally it makes up to 18 unified mass units. I think it's clear now. 18 unified mass units. Further, if you go, I'm writing a statement. 18 unified mass units of H2O is considered. That means if you have taken this much mass of H2O, 18 unified mass units of H2O is taken, then you are taking only 1 H2O molecule. Later, I am considering, try to understand, I am changing the unit. Previously it is unified mass. Now it is in terms of grams. So if you consider 18 grams, that would be nothing but 18 grams of H2O. Let me write like this. 18 grams of H2O. Then that would make 1 mole of H2O molecules. 1 mole of H2O molecules. 18 grams of H2O is nothing but 1 mole of H2O molecules. Means if you have taken 18 grams of water, in that there will be 1 mole of H2O molecules. That means 6.022 into 10 power 23 number of H2O molecules. I think I am clear with this. If you are taking 18 grams of water in a jug, let us suppose we are considering 18 grams of water in a jug, how many molecules it would consider? It will consist of these many number of molecules, 6.022 into 10 power 23. This is very huge number. If you start putting zeros in beside this 6.022, you will get to know how big the number would be, right? 6022 and 18, let me say 20 zeros in beside that. Those many number of molecules will be there in 18 grams of water. Now we shall get into a problem. I hope with mole, if I say 1 mole, how much number it would be, it's clear right now. Now we shall get into detailed problem solving based upon this concept. There is an equation, thermite equation, while discussing in the previous session we have taken Al, aluminium would be reacting with Fe2O3, giving rise to iron plus aluminium oxide. Here if you see, it's displacement reaction. This Fe is replaced by aluminium. This iron is replaced by aluminium. Is it a balanced equation? It's a skeleton equation which we have got, and we shall balance it. It's very, very simple. If I put 2 over here, it will be very much balanced equation. 2 aluminiums over this side, 2 aluminiums, 2 iron, 3 oxygens. It's very much balanced equation, and it's a thermite equation, very, very important equation, where the iron ore, the hematite ore would be reacting with aluminium producing iron and aluminium oxide. This is the reaction we have got. And now the question goes like this: how much aluminium is required? How much aluminium is required? Aluminium required to generate 1120 kgs of iron. So this would be the question which is asked to you, and there is hidden information. Already we have learned what is the hidden information within the equation. So the question is going like this: how much aluminium is required to get 1120 kg of iron? Here how much aluminium has to be taken in order to get 1120 kg of iron? So that is what the question is. So for this you are given with an information within this. No, see, simply an equation and the question is given to you, and you want to find out how much aluminium to get this much iron. Very simple. We have some information hidden in this particular equation. What is that hidden information? For this I already told you, in order to calculate the weights, molecular masses and atomic weights must be known. So if you want to tell me how much is the atomic weight of aluminium, this would be 27 units. And next to that, if you consider iron, that would be 56 units. Oxygen, it would be 16 units. Remember, for the calculation sake I am giving you these, what we say, atomic masses of each, atomic weight of each element. Now let me write like this. Here if you are putting 2 aluminum, that indicates 2 aluminum atoms. Remember, 2 aluminum atoms are reacting with one Fe2O3 molecule to give 2 iron molecules, iron atoms along with aluminum oxide. Let me write like this. 2 aluminum in the sense, 2 into how many units? Each aluminum would be 27 units, right? So totally 54 units of aluminum, 54 unified mass of aluminum atoms would be reacting with Fe2, means 2 into 56 plus 16 3s are 48. 56 into 2 would be 112. Let me write like that. 112 plus 48, how much would it be? 160 units of iron oxide. Remember, 54 unified mass units of aluminum is reacting with 160 unified mass units of iron oxide. Now you come here, it would be 2 into 56, that would be equal to 112 units of iron, and you come here, it would be 2 into 27, we can write this as 54 plus 16 3s 48, and it would go like this to 8 plus 4 12. Is that the thing? 8 plus 4 12, 6 plus 4 10. Sorry, 1 and 2. Sorry, is that right? 4214. It's right. Now if you see, 1 or 2 units of aluminum oxide is evolved. Now it's very simple. 54 units of aluminum reacting with 160 units of iron oxide to give 112 units of iron, and along with that 1 or 2 units of aluminum oxide. Now I am going to write, see here, 54 units of aluminum in the sense 2 aluminum atoms. If I take 54 grams, this 54 grams would react with 160 grams of iron oxide to give 112 grams of iron, and here 1 or 2 grams of aluminum oxide. Very very simple, it's very very simple. Try to understand. Now if you see here, the relationship which was asked, how much aluminum is required to generate 1120 kg of iron, right? So the relationship must be established between these two elements, aluminum and iron. If you see here, the relationship goes like this. 54 grams is generating 112 grams of iron. Here this side I am writing aluminum information, this side I am writing iron. Very very simple, Nana, very very simple. It's childhood mathematics. Aluminum, 54 grams of aluminum is giving out 112 grams of iron. Now you see, you want to get 1120 kg of iron, right? So let me convert this into grams simply by multiplying with 10 cube. 1 kg would be 1000 grams, right? That is how. Let me take this as x. X is equals to 1120 into 10 cube. This will be multiplied by this into 54 divided by 112. Ones, tens. 54 into 10 power 4, that can be written as 540 into 10 cube grams of aluminum. 540 into 10 cube grams of aluminum is required. How much? 540 into 10 cube grams of aluminum is required. 540 into 10 cube grams in the sense 540 kgs. Remember, 540 kgs of aluminium is required to generate 1120 kgs of iron. It's very, very simple, Nana. If we do more and more problems with this concept, you can understand this concept well. In the next session, we are going to do 2 to 3 problems more, which will enable you to understand this particular concept even more detailed manner. Bye bye.